In other words, folk want to act like they're God. In order to be God, you have to be self-existent. In order to be God, you have to have created everything. Okay? In order to be God, in other words, take a deep breath right now. That rules us all out. Ain't nobody God. Because you just breathe his air.
You just breathe.
Right? You see?
Yes.
So all these things that claim to be God, it's impossible.
Amen.
They're not. Buddha was not self-existent.
No.
Muhammad was not self-existent.
No.
You see what I'm saying? This is what qualifies him. Okay, before any was, he was.
Yeah.
And he will always be. This is a wonderful thing to understand why he is king and why he chose the term king. So everything that is was in God. Everything that exists. Watch what Hebrews 1:1, you can just write it down, I'll read it. Hebrews 1:1 says, God, or Elohim, in times past, and in various ways, spoke in times past to the fathers by the prophets. But in these last days, he has spoken to us by his Son, Jesus Christ, whom he has appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. Everything that's in existence, he made it. It tickles me now because the so-called MUFON and the UFO hunters, and they think they have proven that there is life other than us, and so and one of them had the nerve to say that will change the whole realm of God. I'm like, really? They actually think and it's amazing. Here's God, the Ancient of Days, been around forever. They think by, billions of years now they done found out something, and that changes God. The arrogance of mankind is amazing to me. That they should think that way. Colossians picks it up and says everything in heaven, in earth, and even below the earth was made by him, for him.
Yes.
You see, this is what makes him God. And he's trying to show these origins really need to be looked at even greater, because when I finish going through all of this, he says, and I made you in my image. And in my likeness. Can you grasp that? You're in his image, and no wonder he says, I made you king. Because only a king can make a king.
Right.
Amen.
When the question came up, well, how come everybody get to be king? Well, if you're born again, you're born of God. He's king, and he made you king. I don't know what else. Acts says we are his offspring.
Right.
So the only way you get to be in royal family, you have to be born in it. Nicodemus, you need to be born again so that you can come into the kingdom. You asked me how to get in the kingdom. I'm just telling you, you need to be born into it. That makes you royalty. Notice, it has nothing to do with religion.
Thank you, God.
Nowhere do you see religion. Hebrews 1:3 goes on and says, who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power. Wow. So he first, now this is very, I don't know. I got really carried away in Genesis because I started going back, because you can't even comprehend this realm of God. But Genesis gives you a little peek when it says, and these are the generations of the creation of the earth before they were in the earth. Yeah. So God obviously created the unseen before the seen.
Yes.
Okay? And literally, if you look at the way God created us, it's why our spirit is greater than our flesh. Okay? And you need to, I know we know this already. Spirits are more real. Okay, than flesh. I was looking at one of these old silly so-called reality shows, Ghost Hunters or something like that. And this priest was really trying to tell them, he says, you guys are really messing around with some really dangerous territories. He says, you're really experimenting with something that already is.
Right.
You get that?
Uh-huh.
Because here they are trying to figure out and play with these things. He said, these things are real. He says, I've seen possessions where they actually possess. He said, and he was trying to really, I said, boy, that's good for somebody who's, secular or whatever.
Right.
I said, but this is the world. They're so arrogant. They are so arrogant. I said, I got a good picture of what the end time is going to look like now. It's no joke. It's in very serious things. This is why I said, listen, because we have the dominion, we are the only ones who have the authority to release spirits in the earth.
Yes. Yes.
And they're doing it every day.
Yes.
And don't even realize what they're doing. This is why the end times are going to be so bad. Because these spirits, they're going to release them and they're not going to know what to do with them. They don't believe the Bible. They don't believe in the Word of God.
Right.
So you see, so what we're doing, people of God, like I said, it may not look important now. It may seem very insignificant what we're doing each Sunday, each week, or whatever we come together. But I'm telling you, the time is going to come when somebody's going to need somebody to know the spiritual warfare that's in the earth.
Amen.
They have released in it. They have brought these spirits in and they don't know what to do with them.
That's right.
And it really concerns me that the body of Christ, more than half, do not know spiritual warfare. I can't tell you how many texts or emails I get each day where people are saying, I never even heard of spiritual warfare. That I knew nothing about spiritual. It just breaks my heart. I said, God, how are these people going to survive these end times if the church is not being true to the call of the kingdom?